Howdy, I'm Dimwit, the last mountain man, feared throughout the land. I'm packing a handgun today, and I'd like to show it to you. Check this out. Okay. And that's an antique 1860 Army Colt that's made into a Thuer conversion revolver. Now, this thing is loaded, and first we're going to shoot it, then I'm going to take it apart and show it to you in detail and tell you a little more about it. So let's have at it. There's this recoil shield here with 3 positions. Right now it's in the safe position. Now it's in the shooting position. Okay. Okay, we had a couple of misfires. This is actually probably the first time this gun has been shot in, who knows, 150 years, could be. Let's take it apart and see how it works. Okay, so this is that recoil shield, and this is the cylinder. It's got 2 bullets left in there. This thing is not quite what it seems, because it's been altered a little bit, and it's actually not genuine Colt Thuer. It is, however, a genuine 1860 Army Colt, but it's been converted into a Thuer conversion revolver, but it's not done by Colt, and I can tell that because it doesn't have the patent dates it should on the cylinder, or on the recoil shield, I should say. And it's also, the revolver is much too old. It's an early 1861 manufacture, and they didn't start making these until, I can't remember offhand, but 1868, 9, something like that. And I don't think Colt would have used an 8-year-old revolver to make a conversion. And but you know, these things are expensive today. A nice example will run you like $20,000. A wreck will run you $3,000. So there are fakes out there. But I don't think this is a fake, because it's very well made, and for someone with those skills, you know, they would clearly been able to, you know, to begin with, they'd find a late production gun, and they would have put patent dates on it. So I think it's been made back in the old days, when this was still a useful gun to have, and whoever did it was a very good gunsmith. It's very well made, maybe not quite up to Colt standard when it comes to the finish of the little parts in here, but it's very well made. And you must have had access to the real thing to be able to make this, because there are some complicated parts in here. And it's got pretty much the same patina all over the gun. It's not a fake patina, so it's kind of the real thing, but not quite. Now, these things were loaded from the front, and not from the back. And they had tapered cartridges, centerfire, reloadable, and they would just kind of seat in there. But they would come loose sometimes just from walking around, riding around over time. Sometimes they come loose when you'd shoot, and you'd have a misfire, and you'd jam the cylinder, and it was just never really that good of a gun. But it might seem like a bad idea to make a front loading gun like that, but when you think about it, it was actually a good idea at the time, because the percussion Colts, they were loaded from the front, and they didn't load them like most people do today. They had paper cartridges that loaded from the front, and so it was seemed like a good idea at the time. And Smith & Wesson held the patents for cylinders that were bored through and used cartridges from the rear, so they had to come up with something different. A little while later, the patent dates expired on Smith & Wesson things, and Colt started doing ordinary cartridge revolvers. And well, another clever thing is the revolver came with reloading tools, and it was kind of the revolver functioned as a reloading press. They had tools in here, and you'd use the ramrod to reload the cartridges. So it was a gun and a loading press. Now, it's very hard to make a functional Thuer cartridge. So what's been done here, it's actually got 44 Magnum shell casings that have been machined down and pressed in from the front, and they'll stay in there all the time, and use a small punch to punch out the primers, and I use a bigger punch to press new ones in, and then from there on you load it just like you would a percussion revolver. So that's kind of awkward, but it was pretty much the only way to try this gun, and I think it was kind of interesting to try it. So I guess I should try to fire those 2 last rounds. Ooh. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I think we're going to call it a day, but very interesting gun, very rare, kind of different. It was fun to try it. Like I said, probably hasn't been shot in 150 years. Catch you later.